So we know how to create and add our own user form, but we haven't got one that actually does anything that's much use yet. Let's take the user form start file, which already has a user form started within it. If we go into Visual Basic, you'll see there's a user form here called case choice, which has a name of case choice and here a caption of choose case. And the idea behind this form is that we're going to give people the ability to choose what case to change the selected text to. The first stage is we could do with an OK and cancel button, fairly common. Let's activate the toolbox and add two command buttons. The command button is this little option here. We come across into our user form and add one command button and then add a second command button. So you can use the grid to make sure things are the same size. Or you can select items and change their properties in here. So you can change the height, the left position. So let's take command button 1. This is going to be our OK button. So I'm going to change the name of it to CMD OK. So we're giving the object a much shorter name than command button 1. We need to change the caption. This is what appears on the button. So that's going to be OK. And then command button 2, I'm going to call CMD cancel. I'm giving it the prefix of CMD so that there isn't an existing object already in Excel that has the same name. And then its caption is going to be cancel. We can set one of them to be the default. So let's set the OK button, default to true, which means that that button will already have the selection when the form loads up. And we can even, for the cancel button, already set the cancel property here to true. So clicking this button will actually cancel the form anyway. Now in order to test that the form opens and looks right and we're getting somewhere, we actually need a sub-procedure to call the form. So let's insert a new module and we'll say run form, which is going to be a sub. And then to run our form, we simply have case choice, which is the name of our form, .show. And that way we can run it from the immediate window down here. And we can see that our form opens. We have an OK button that has the highlight, it's the default, and we have a cancel button. Now, clicking either of them at the moment actually does nothing because we've not associated any actions with them. So let's close that, go back into the VBA. So to add an action to either of these forms, let's do the cancel one. We double click the object. That brings us into command cancel _ click. Command cancel is my little object, my little command button. And when somebody clicks it, what I want to happen? Well, effectively, I want it to close the form. So we use the command unload case choice, which is our object, our form. So we can run the form again. And when we click cancel, it unloads the form. So that little bit of code is working quite happily. The OK button, if I double click that, well, that's actually going to do the work. So for the moment, we'll just get that to a message box of you clicked OK. And we'll ask that to close the form as well. So effectively unload it from the interface. So if we click run form, we now click OK, we get the message box you clicked OK, but then the form is closed as well. So this is adding command buttons. This is the command button tool. You select it, draw it onto your form, then select your button and use the properties to set a sensible name for the command button, caption for the command button so that people know why they're clicking it. And you can even change the formatting down here. You can see we can change the font, typeface, the height, the left position for either of your command buttons. And then to tell the button what to do when clicked, you simply double click. That takes you into code sheet, and not only into the code sheet, but into the correct sub procedure, which is clicking your command button. Now there are other options for your command button. You can see up here we've got command OK, and on the right we've got a drop down of options. So you could actually look to go for a double click. So they'd have to double click to trigger something. So notice the default there is click, which is why it's bold. So you can change away from the default, which is normally you expect people to click, or in a text box, it's people to update the text box or to leave the text box. So for the moment, we have our form in place. It has an OK button and a cancel button, and it's ready, it's the right size. We're now ready for the next stage, which is to put some more objects on from the control box that are actually asking the user to make a decision.